Passive, all forms. 10th grade. Lesson 24. What is passive and when do we use it? Usually we build our sentences using the following pattern: subject, verb, object. For example, 8,000 visitors use the hotel a year. The company built the hotel in 1985. This type of sentences is called active voice. But if we don't know who has performed the action, or we want to shift the focus to the action, then we use the passive voice. In passive we start the sentence with the object that the action is performed on. The hotel is used by 8,000 visitors a year. The hotel was built in 1985. How do we formulate passive sentences? We transform active sentences into passive ones, using the following steps. Put the object in the beginning of the sentence. Use the correct form of the verb to be and the past participle. The maid opened the door. The active sentence is in past simple tense. The form of the verb to be, in past simple is, was, and the past participle of the verb, open, is, opened. So the passive sentence will be: the door was opened. The subject of the verb from the active sentence can be omitted in passive voice, or we can add it at the end of the sentence using by. The door was opened by the maid. Passive voice in different verb tenses. Let's see how different verb tenses transform when in passive sentences. Present simple. Tom cleans the house. The house is cleaned by Tom. Past simple. Sam repaired the car. The car was repaired by Sam. Future simple. We will finish the work by 5 p.m. The work will be finished by 5 p.m. Be going to. Sally is going to make a delicious dinner tonight. A delicious dinner is going to be made by Sally tonight. Present continuous. Sarah is writing the letter. The letter is being written by Sarah. Past continuous. The salesman was helping the customer when the thief broke into the store. The customer was being helped by the salesman when the store was broken into. Present perfect. Many tourists have visited that castle. That castle has been visited by many tourists. Past perfect. George had repaired many cars before he received his mechanic's license. Many cars had been repaired by George before he received his mechanic's license. Future perfect. They will have completed the project before the deadline. The project will have been completed before the deadline. Future in the past, using would. I knew John would finish the work by 5 p.m. I knew the work would be finished by 5 p.m. future in the past, using was going to. I thought Sally was going to make a delicious dinner tonight. I thought a delicious dinner was going to be made tonight. Used to. Jerry used to pay the bills. The bills used to be paid by Jerry. Exceptions. All the perfect continuous forms, present, past and future, are not common in passive voice. So we keep those sentences in active voice. They will have been chasing him for weeks. Recently, John has been doing the work. If a verb doesn't take an object, the sentence can't be transformed in passive voice. Sonia slept very well that night. The previous day she was just sitting by the window and crying. Passive and modal verbs. We can use passive voice with present and past forms of modal verbs. The construction is as follows: object, modal verb. The correct form of to be. Past participle of the verb. Please read the sentences and think of the difference in their meaning. Burglars stole the paintings. Past simple. The paintings were stolen. Passive voice. Burglars must have stolen the paintings. 100% probability. The paintings must have been stolen. Passive voice. Please be very careful when you form the passive sentences because there is a great deal of difference between the paintings must be stolen and the paintings must have been stolen. Other features. Prepositions. If a preposition belongs with the verb in the active sentence, when in passive it goes immediately after the past participle. Burglars broke into the museum. The museum was broken into. The teacher is telling off the students. The students are being told off. Adverbs. The adverbs of frequency, still, just, already, even, go immediately before the form of to be. The canteen will still be used for lunch. The hotel has already been renovated. All other adverbs go immediately before the past participle. The hotel has been completely renovated. Passive and verb valency. Valency indicates the number of arguments that are associated with a particular verb in a sentence. Most verbs are at least monovalent. This means they have one argument, which is the subject of a sentence that is performing the action stated by the verb. Divalent verbs take two arguments, the subject and the object that the action is performed on. For example, Dave threw the ball. In passive, the ball was thrown by Dave. She will talk to the manager. The manager will be talked to. But the trivalent verbs take three agents, the subject, a direct object and an indirect object. For example, I gave my friend a gift. If we want to transform this sentence into passive voice, we have two options: to start the sentence with the direct object, "A gift was given to my friend," or to start with the indirect object, "My friend was given a gift." Remember that it is much more common for the indirect object, usually a person, to start the sentence in passive voice. She handed me a note. I was handed a note. The other option is, a note was handed to me. We can use it if we want to emphasize the note in the act of giving, not the fact that I was the receiver.